patched mongrel mob member who had already fired shots at police held a rifle to the head of the 74-year-old man he was holding hostage and yelled, "I'll effing ill him." Jade Mallow was at the end of a rampage on the run from police. He was off his ADHD medication, had been on a 3-day methamphetamine binge, and thought the gangs were after him when police found him sitting in a stolen car with fake plates on the side of State Highway 30 near Edgecombe. 2 officers pulled up behind it and then heard a popping noise. It was only when they were beside the car that they recognised Mallow, saw he was pointing a cut-down .22 caliber rifle at them, and realised he had fired shots in their direction. The police drove 300 metres down the road and called for backup as Mallow ran off on foot. He went into a nearby property and asked an occupant, Cara Lee Namana Kelly, if he could take her truck as the police were after him. She said no, and he left. He went further down the road to another woman's house where he banged on her ranch slider. Ann Moran Clark saw he was holding a rifle and wouldn't let him in. He picked up a pot plant to bang on the door before going to the roller garage door and trying to force it open. Clark let him in the house and Mallow took her keys and left in her car. Road spikes had been put up on State Highway 30 and, realising there was no way out, Mallow drove into a property on Hydro Road, crashing through an electric gate. At the property were Richard Hayes and his wife, who lived in the main house, and a 74-year-old Edward Atwood, who lived in a semi-detached unit. The noise woke Atwood, who, peering through the curtain, saw Mallow yelling and screaming. Mallow went towards him, pointing the rifle at him, and said, "The cops are after me, give me your keys." Atwood said, "You're not having my effing keys." Mallow hit him in the face, first with his fist and then with a steel part of the rifle. Atwood fell to the ground, bleeding and dazed. Meanwhile, in the main house, the Hayes dog started barking, which woke Richard Hayes. He saw Atwood lying on the floor on the unit, bleeding. He went on to check at him, and Mallow pointed the rifle at him, said, "You better F off before I shoot you and your dog." Hayes returned to the house while Mallow dragged Atwood across the unit into a bedroom where he propped him up against the bed. Police, including the Armed Defenders Squad, arrived at the Hydro Place address. They asked him to come out peacefully, but Mallow replied, saying, "I've got a effing hostage in here, and no, US cannot touch me. I'll shoot you." At one point during the negotiations, Mallow held the barrel of the rifle to Atwood's temple and yelled, "I'll ill him." Mallow continued to be agitated, pulling the drawers from the dresser and throwing them at the windows, shattering the glass. After 2 hours, he gave himself up and was arrested. Mallow received an end sentence of 5 years and 9 months imprisonment.